The observation deck of the celestial wanderer hummed with a low frequency that Jake had grown accustomed to over the past 3 months. Beyond the reinforced viewports, the cosmos stretched in every direction, an infinite canvas of stars and nebulae that should have inspired wonder. Instead, Jake felt only a gnawing loneliness that threatened to consume him from the inside out. He was the last human alive. The plague had swept through the colony ships like wildfire through dry grass. Medical officers initially believed they could contain it, quarantine the infected, develop a cure. They were wrong on all counts. Within 6 weeks, every human aboard the fleet had succumbed to the hemorrhagic fever except Jake. The doctors theorized his rare genetic anomaly. A mutation that left him immune to most viral infections had saved him. He wished it had taken him too. The Galactic Council had been sympathetic but firm. Humanity's few remaining outposts had been similarly devastated. Earth itself had gone dark 2 years prior, consumed by environmental collapse. Jake represented not merely the end of a bloodline, but the extinction of an entire species. The Council archived what remained of human culture and assigned him a guardian from the Valkyrie species, beings who specialized in xenobiology and preservation of endangered races. That guardian was Lyra. She stood 8 feet tall, her physiology a striking departure from human anatomy. Her skin bore a faint lavender hue that shifted to deeper purple along her spine and limbs. 2 pairs of eyes, arranged vertically on her angular face, could perceive wavelengths far beyond human capability. Her movements carried a predatory grace that reminded Jake of the great cats he had seen in archived footage from Earth. Lyra had been professional, even compassionate, during their first months together. She ensured Jake received proper nutrition, maintained his physical health, and provided access to human cultural archives to combat his isolation. She asked thoughtful questions about human customs, emotions, and history. Jake appreciated her efforts, even as he recognized the clinical nature of their relationship. He was a specimen to be preserved, nothing more. Everything changed 3 days ago. Lyra had entered his quarters without the usual courtesy knock, her movements agitated and uncoordinated. Her skin flushed darker, patterns rippling across her shoulders and back like storm clouds racing across the sky. All 4 eyes had dilated, and she emitted a low-frequency hum that Jake felt in his bones. "I must apologize," she said, her voice strained. "My breeding cycle has begun early. The suppression medication has failed. I will need to isolate myself for approximately 2 weeks until it passes." Jake had nodded, not fully understanding the implications. "Is there anything I can do to help?" Her laugh came out harsh and bitter. "Unless you possess compatible reproductive biology, no. The Valkyrie breeding cycle is intensely physiological. Without a mate, it will be deeply uncomfortable, but I will survive." She had retreated to her quarters immediately, sealing the door behind her. For 2 days, Jake heard nothing from that section of the ship. On the 3rd day, the ship's medical system alerted him to a critical situation. Lyra's vital signs showed dangerous instability. Her core temperature had spiked beyond safe parameters, and her neural activity suggested she was experiencing severe distress. Jake stood outside her door now, his hand hovering over the override controls. The ship's artificial intelligence had already informed him that Lyra's condition was deteriorating rapidly. Without intervention, she would experience permanent neurological damage or death within hours. "Lyra," he called through the intercom. "I'm coming in. The medical system says you're in trouble." No response came, only that bone-deep humming sound, now laced with harmonics that suggested pain. Jake activated the override. The door slid open, revealing a darkened chamber thick with humid air and an unfamiliar scent that reminded him of ozone and flowers. Lyra lay on her sleeping platform, her body contorted, skin patterns swirling frantically. All 4 eyes tracked him as he entered, showing recognition mixed with something primal. "You should not be here," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. "The pheromones I am producing will affect you. Your biology may interpret them as intoxicating, even though you cannot fulfill what they signal." Jake approached cautiously, pulling up her medical readouts on his portable scanner. Her internal chemistry had gone haywire, hormones surging to levels that would have killed a human outright. "What do you need?" "There must be something the medical bay can synthesize." "Nothing artificial will work," Lyra said, shuddering. "The Velkari breeding cycle requires biological compatibility. It is not merely about reproduction, but about genetic exchange at a fundamental level. Two Velkari joining creates a temporary neural bond that regulates both partners' physiologies. Without it, my system will continue escalating until it destroys itself." "There has to be another way," Jake insisted. "What about other Velkari?" "We could send a distress signal. The nearest Velkari is 3 weeks away at maximum velocity." "I will not survive 3 hours." Jake sat on the edge of her platform, his mind racing through impossible calculations. He studied xenobiology records, trying to find any precedent, any solution. The scanner indicated that despite their obvious physical differences, humans and Velkari shared surprising biochemical similarities. Both species were carbon-based, both used remarkably similar neurotransmitters, both had evolved from predatory ancestors. "What if," Jake began slowly, "there was enough compatibility? Enough similarity in our neural chemistry that I could provide what you need, even if only partially?" Lyra's eyes focused on him with sudden intensity. "You are suggesting an unprecedented biological exchange between our species. There is no data, no precedent. The risk to both of us is incalculable." "The risk of doing nothing is very calculable," Jake countered. "You die, and I am left truly alone in this universe." "You care about my survival," Lyra said, making it a statement rather than a question. "Yes," Jake admitted. "You have been kind to me. You have treated me as more than just the last remnant of a dead species. You have been my friend. I will not watch you die when there might be something I can do." Lyra was silent for a long moment, her body trembling with the effort of maintaining control. "If we attempt this, you must understand that the Velkari breeding bond is not merely physical. It creates a temporary neural link. You will experience my thoughts, my emotions, my sensations. I will experience yours. There will be no barriers between us." "I understand," Jake said, though he did not fully comprehend what he was agreeing to. "And if this works," Lyra continued, her voice dropping to something almost vulnerable, "if we create true compatibility where none should exist, it will change both of us in ways we cannot predict. We may become dependent on each other. We may create something entirely new." Jake met her gaze steadily, looking into all 4 eyes that now showed fear and hope in equal measure. "I am already the last of my kind. If I can save you, if I can prevent your species from losing one of its own, then whatever changes come are worth it. We adapt or we die. That is the only truth I have left." Lyra reached out with one long-fingered hand, touching Jake's face with surprising gentleness. "You are braver than you know, last human. Very well, we will attempt what has never been done. We will bridge the gap between our species and see what emerges on the other side." The ship's medical bay prepared a biochemical catalyst, a compound designed to enhance neural compatibility between divergent species. Jake injected it without hesitation, feeling warmth spread through his bloodstream. Lyra took her own dose, and together they waited for the compounds to take effect. When the connection began, it started as a whisper in the back of Jake's mind. Foreign thoughts that were not his own, emotions colored by an alien psychology. He felt Lyra's pain, the burning need that consumed her, but also her curiosity, her scientific fascination, and beneath it all, genuine affection for him. In return, Lyra experienced the crushing loneliness that had defined Jake's existence since the plague. She felt the weight of being the last, the guilt of survival, and the desperate need for connection that transcended species. She understood, perhaps for the first time, what her companionship had meant to him. The neural bond deepened, their biochemistries beginning to synchronize in ways that defied established science. Jake felt his own physiology shifting, adapting, his immune system and neural pathways responding to Lyra's needs. In turn, her body stabilized, the dangerous fever breaking as their combined biologies found equilibrium. Hours passed in a state that was neither sleep nor waking. When full awareness returned, Jake found himself curled against Lyra's larger frame, her arms wrapped protectively around him. The bond remained, though gentler now, a constant awareness of her presence in his mind. "It worked," Lyra said softly, wonder evident in her voice. "We should not be compatible. Our evolutionary paths diverged millions of years ago on worlds light years apart. Yet somehow we bridged that gap. What does this mean?" Jake asked, still processing the profound intimacy of their connection. "It means," Lyra said slowly, "that you are no longer alone. And neither am I. We have created something unprecedented, a bond between species that should have been impossible. The Galactic Council will want to study this. Other species will seek to understand,